Record. Cool. EU. Shit. Just shit. Um, we've mitigated obviously the decision. At the point that we've mitigated is really fucking good. Obviously, this is your pullback that led to the 4 hour break here. So really, really strong area in terms of like spot for price to react from. And it does make sense for this area to give us a nice reaction. Going to be obviously dependent on how much of this NFP push it wants to fill. That does sort of throw our price action a little bit here in terms of the reaction we'd normally expect from an area like this. So we'll see what it wants to do in that sense. But basically what you've got in EU at the moment is we had price obviously dance around in here for a little bit, but we finally got that break of this last high, obviously of price stepping down coming into this point. So now looking for price to start its retracement back up to some of those high points and filling the imbalance up there. Basically, if I was to look to trade EU right now, I'm not going to be looking to sell out of here. I'm not going to be looking for an inducement of that. And then I've got no more structure to be able to induce before being able to allow me to sell. So basically, what I'd be looking for if I'm looking for sells on EU, I kind of need it to build more structure so I can induce that and then start to sell back down, or wait basically until price is up there. The other option looking for buys is if price does come down, you'll get this little inducement, which is like 5-minute structure into this mitigation. Do have to be concerned about the structural build up down the bottom here. Don't care for like the equal lows or whatever, just more so looking at this is a good strong area to induce. So buying out of here may be a little bit risky, especially given how bearish price is after that NFP push. So don't really have a whole lot. If price does get here, like I'll have a bit of a look at it. I'm not going to be aggressive by any means, but if it does present something that's too obvious not to take and it's too clean not to take, then yeah, I'll be tempted at the most. AU. AU again is pretty similar to EU in the sense of it's just in a bit of an awkward spot. We're going to find that we're going to be probably in an awkward spot for most of this week, to be honest with you. It's probably going to be another slow week, given that we're recovering after our NFP push, got such a big range there with obviously no structure inside of that point. And then we've got CPI tomorrow, which is hopefully going to give us something to be able to work with. It'll more than likely just do that. So yeah, not expecting a whole lot for this week. But basically, what we can work with is right now, we obviously want to be trying to buy up inside of this point after we've had a big break of structure over to the left here, wanting to try and catch some of this retracement if we can, as price is starting to give us those signs of doing a retracement with obviously internal breaks coming down, little inducements, breaking to the upside, respecting, breaking to the upside, and then coming back down, mitigating an hourly point, starting to push its way back up. I was going to try and actually look for a buy out of this area, but there was just nothing that presented. It's going to be more so just a forward test than anything. But basically what I'm looking for at the moment is got an alert down here. If we come down and induce this 15-minute point into this mitigation or just induce on its own, I'm happy to then look for a buy. Given the circumstances at the moment with the way the price is starting to step its way up, it'll be pretty likely that if we do get this inducement, that is going to be more so an inducement and should lead to a push to the upside rather than it being a breaker structure and having price continue like that. Obviously, if we do continue to push through from this inducement and mitigate at this point, I'll look to buy from there. Going to be iffy buying from this point. I'd rather wait for price to push a little bit further down and take that low. But yeah, not going to be looking to sell from Asia high. That's not enough for me. Would be the same sort of thing. I'd need price to more or less come down in here. I'll look to buy or take out this high, then I'll look to sell. That's really the plan for AU. There's not a lot to work with on it. It's in a bit of an awkward spot, but GU looks better. So let Brad go through that one. If anyone has any questions, drop in the chat box as well.
Beautiful. All right. So GU, we've reacted out of this bottom hourly point we wanted price react out of. And it did induce this 15-minute point here as well. So very, very clean. There was no entries down here, unfortunately. And that case study for yesterday's buy is going up as well. And it'll explain why we shouldn't have been as aggressive. So it'll explain why that was a loss and why, something to think about next time. So that's a good reason of why you actually go over your trades. Now, in terms of what price has done here, it's pushed up, 15-minute break, pull down, another 15-minute break, two internal 15-minute breaks. Now, we are very, very bearish, so you can't just expect this thing to keep selling. With the two 15-minute internal breaks, this could mean that we could get a bit of a retracement and take out some of this imbalance from the news on Friday. So we have got a fair bit of liquidity build up at the top here that hasn't been taken, but we have reacted out of a 5-minute point here that may be basically the driver for this thing to drop. It would suck if it would. I'm not going to try and sell this thing. The 5-minute point isn't significant enough for me to even look at. Now, what price has actually done with this news? Obviously, we love some news. It's pushed down and created relative equal lows with the point here. There is a small 5-minute point here. Not interested. It broke the last internal low in an internal range, in an internal 15-minute range. So just not interested. I'm hoping that price basically just builds back up, recovers a bit from that news wick, and then pushes down into this point. So this point and this point are the 2 points I'm interested in. This point did take liquidity and break this 15-minute internal high. And this point obviously created that entire move. So I'm basically just looking for price to push down, give us an entry model here, or give us an entry model here, and I'll be happy to look to buy up to take this out. Just understand that this is, like you can see, the complex pullback part of the movement. So it's going to be a slow one. Like I don't expect this thing to drop in here and then all of a sudden we're going to move like 100 pips to the upside. But we have got that news tomorrow, so that could push it. But I do see, like Dylan said, basically prices pushing up and then just melting off the face of the earth with that news tomorrow. So buy from here, buy from here. Anything else I see is just high risk, especially what with news is done here. Bit disgusting in terms of trying to sell or buy in this boxed area here. We obviously want price to push up, take some of this, and also take that liquidity before we even look to sell. And ideally, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't even get to this point, like we said. So that's basically the outlook for today. Very, very simple. Just want price to step its way down into either two of these points and look to buy up from there. So any questions to do with that? If not,
Sweet.
just give it a good waiting time. You just got to understand with news like this, end of the month, start of a new month, you're going to get price be slow as shit. Something you got to get used to. It happens every month. I think we have the same conversation. So just something you got to get used to. Just being patient. Don't take all your losses in the first week of the month.
Yeah, you just got to know when to sit on your hands and wait with it. Like when we've got NFP and then CPI, we know they're generally the biggest news releases. Well, they are the biggest news releases of the month. So you do get those massive pushes, then the really slow recovery. Then we generally get pretty good price action for 2-3 weeks afterwards, obviously, depending on how the month plays out. But yeah, we just got to be patient in these times and just wait for our setups. Really don't want to be spending, this week and maybe even like the first half of next week, trying to catch silly trades in amongst this chop while price is recovering and building structure again, and then spend the 2-3 weeks of good price action recuperating your losses. Like it's a horrible cycle to be in, and it's one that you really want to avoid. You're better off just honestly sitting here, watching, waiting for price to recover, build up some good structure, build up some, I guess, enough structure really to be able to form a bias is the easiest way to say it. And then we can be aggressive and execute on the trades that present. There's going to be little trades here and there throughout, obviously, like the week and whatnot, while price is recovering, and we'll do our best to make sure we can catch them, but just don't want to be overly aggressive. So just make sure you're being patient while we wait. My bias is that every news release will be bearish on the dollar. Well, this one was bullish on the dollar, so
Rip.
CPI from memory normally follows NFP. So I wouldn't be surprised if it melts. It's pretty rare that we see CPI, NFP melt and then CPI rocket back up. That's just, I hope it doesn't do that. That's just going to make it so awkward. But we'll see. We've still got the rest of today. GU does have good potential. We just, want to be patient. That's the main thing. Yeah, just wait for a good price and we'll go from there.
Awesome.
Do you guys value the reaction of price? Value reaction of price when either taps into a supply demand or induces a point, or does that really matter? I Yeah, I just wait for it to mitigate or induce and then wait for my confirmations.
Either way, you need confirmations whenever you look at it.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
No.
Continuations is the only way.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you guys
continuations,
don't
yeah.
know enough about them yet, so I've
No,
got a
I
couple going on
always
today.
wait for the inducement.
You just got to understand that without an inducement, 40% win rate. With an inducement, 80% win rate. So would you rather just not wait? Like you
Get
think if you're waiting for a 1 minute break of structure, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. Yeah, yeah. You double your win rate by having that extra patience.
Chuck them in the Discord. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's cool.
Enjoy. Sweet guys.
Sweet as.
Any other questions? If not, we'll wrap it up there. And look at GU starting to step its way back down, so we might go live pretty soon. We'll go from there.
Awesome as.
Sweet. No
Gentlemen.
worries, Kathleen.
No worries.
All right, guys. Speak to you all soon.
Easy catches.